Is premium economy on American Airlines worth your money? Today I'm taking a 7-hour flight where I was very surprised to find certain elements that surpassed what you get in premium economy on even Emirates, whereas other elements were the worst I've ever experienced in premium economy. How does it fare overall though, and would I book it again? Stay tuned to find out.
So this is actually going to be my first premium economy flight on any US airline, so we're interested to see how it's going to compare to the ones I've done recently. I believe that American Airlines have only just started doing premium economy on this transcontinental route. Today that's going to be on a 777, but I think within a few weeks they're going to be launching this on their narrow body, their new A321 XLRs. So maybe I'll have to pop back and try that one as well sometime soon. But that's for another day. For now, time to get over to the airport.
American Airlines flight of Terminal 8 at JFK, and I made my way over via Uber. When I arrived, there were a series of standard and self-service check-in desks, but I couldn't find anything that indicated a special check-in area for premium economy passengers. However, my newly acquired BA Silver status after a recent drop-down from Gold grants me access to the priority check-in used by business class passengers. Incredibly friendly check-in agents here, and she made sure to add my TSA pre-check to my boarding pass for faster security, and she also instructed me to eat all the breakfast I can manage in the Greenwich lounge. I didn't want to let her down. So once through security, I made my way over there. Now, your premium economy ticket does not grant access to the Greenwich lounge, but I'm able to access again via my BA status. Now, since it's not part of the premium economy experience, I'll not spend too much time on the lounge in today's video, but I'll just briefly show you what's on offer. And my first priority when walking here was to quickly go grab a seat in the dining area and get some breakfast in. As you'd expect, there was a good buffet selection available for breakfast. You could also help yourself to a good selection of spirits, soft drinks and coffee, and there was also free pour champagne available, but I opted out this morning. I'm doing quite a few long flights in quick succession here and wanted to be feeling fresh and awake for my arrival into LA, and my flight into JFK the day before had been a bit of a boozy one. I started things off with some sausages, a potato pancake and scrambled eggs with kale and mozzarella. I then followed that up with tiramisu, French toast and pineapple with a cappuccino. The French toast definitely looked nicer than it tasted. It was pretty dry, but everything else that I had was really nice, and I was very happy with breakfast overall. After that, I went to go find a space to relax and get some work done ahead of the departure time. Unfortunately, not all of the lounge was open today. They did have the tasting room and bridge areas closed off for some reason, and all of the seats directly in front of the windows were taken too, so I ended up settling on a quieter corner of the lounge, which did still have some comfy seats and at least partial views out of the window. Overall, a nice place to relax and pass the time. When boarding was called, I made my way over to gate number 3. The check-in agent earlier had been making a big deal about the fact that we were going from gate 3 and that we were flight number 3, was telling me that if I somehow messed that up and went to the wrong gate, she was going to have serious problems with me. When I got over there, they were making announcements asking people to come forward and gate check cases to save room in the overheads. Now, that is a common occurrence in the UK on short-haul narrow-body flights, but I don't think I've ever seen that requested when flying a wide-body like we are today. Our plane today is a Boeing 777-200ER with premium economy cabin set out in a 242 configuration over just 3 rows. I selected seat 15L at the rear of the cabin. I've been quite lucky on a couple of my recent premium economy flights where I've either had an empty seat next to me or I've been travelling with my partner Kelly, but looking at the seat map I could see there would be someone with me today. Boarding order was first, then business, then infants, then group 1 and active military duty, then group 2, then finally my group 3. I walked through the rear business cabin before arriving at the small and very crowded premium cabin. The seat style will feel familiar to anyone who's flown domestic first class with American Airlines, but let's get seated and take a proper look around. The seat felt fairly comfy, albeit a little on the firm side, but a good amount of knee and leg room. Ahead there's a small storage pocket, and above this, a decent sized screen. In the central armrest we have the in-flight entertainment controls, the control for the recline, and under the armrest is an additional storage pocket containing a bottle of water, USB charging and a universal outlet can also be found in here. The tray table is deployed for my right armrest. This folds over, and it was actually pretty sturdy. The seat had a footrest, but no leg rest on this one like you do see on a lot of other premium economy seats. But there is a fully adjustable headrest. Above the seats were individual reading lights and air vents, and I decided to try out the recline, which was okay. I did notice it seemed to hit the back wall of the cabin, which would suggest it may not quite get as much recline as some of the other seats. Not a huge deal on a daytime flight like this, but it is a consideration if you are doing an overnight. Waiting for me at my seat had been this large pouch. And taking a look inside, we have the headphones for today's flight, which I'll try out in a bit. There was a nice blanket, a really excellent neck pillow, and to me a pillow like this is what absolutely makes sense in premium economy. When you're just in a reclined chair, having a normal standard pillow doesn't make much sense. And they also provided what is probably the sleekest looking premium economy amenity kit I've ever received. Inside the kit were socks, an eye mask, earplugs, a dental kit, a glasses cleaning cloth, and some Joanna Vargas amenities, a lotion and a lip balm. A very good kit for premium economy, and better than I've had in some business class cabins, to be honest. To distract myself from the sounds of the passenger next to me playing voice notes out loud, and the smells of her eating McDonald's and drinking Starbucks, I took a look at the in-flight entertainment. The screen wasn't the most modern out there, but there's a good selection of films, and I'm sure I'll not struggle to find anything for this 6-hour flight. But for now, I'll probably stick with the map. It seemed like we would soon be on our way, but I did notice we'd not had any pre-departure drinks offered yet, which, along with the lack of dedicated premium check-in, are the only negative notes so far in comparison to my experiences in premium economy in European and Asian carriers. But don't you worry, there'll be more complaints on the way. The safety demo played, and we pushed back 1 minute early. So as we make our way over to the runway, a quick word on cost. Now, I've looked around on the pricing. Typical cash prices for this route seem to be about $650. There is some variability, but I looked over a few months and it seemed to be around that price. But for me, at the time of booking, it was showing a good bit more than this, so I decided to use British Airways Avios. I paid 40,000 Avios and then just £4.20 in taxes and charges for what was scheduled to be a 7-hour premium economy flight. Now, if I compare that to flying with BA, for example, I did recently fly BA Premium Economy for a similar length flight, 7 hours from London to New York. That cost 60,000 Avios plus about 150 quid per person. So the pricing for this flight of American Airlines felt pretty good to me. But let's get up in the air and find out just how bad that onboard experience is. Once at altitude, I made myself more comfortable kicking off my shoes, deploying the footrest and getting that seat reclined. This is the main reason why I do like the back row in premium economy. I feel like I'm free to recline the whole flight without worrying about bothering anyone. I realised that no menus had been handed out, however drink options could be viewed in the IFE screen. A few of the other airlines I've flown recently in premium economy have allowed pre-ordering of main meals before boarding, but unfortunately this hadn't been an option with American Airlines. My hungover seatmate then requested that I lower my window shades, which I was happy to do since she asked nicely, and she did say she didn't need them closed all the way. And to be honest, it seemed like pretty much everyone else in the cabin apart from myself wanted a dark cabin despite it being a daytime flight. So I decided to just settle in and watch a film and tried out the provided headphones. They were pretty good quality and I found them very comfortable. Definitely amongst the best I've had in premium economy. Wi-Fi was also available on board, but at a cost of $29 I decided I could do without. The food service started 40 minutes after takeoff and options were chicken shawarma or a veggie meal that was sweet potato and tofu. Of course, they ran out of the chicken by the time they got to me, so I was offered the veggie meal or a main cabin meal. I asked if they could check if there was any chicken left on the other trolley on the other side of the cabin, and he said he would only check that once everyone on that side of the plane had had their order taken. And of course there was no chicken left. The meal was served with the foil still on and the bread was wrapped in plastic, but there wasn't room for this to go anywhere when it was taken off, so the tray was a bit overcrowded, and my drink was also served in a plastic cup. None of these are super important factors, but they're all things you wouldn't get in premium economy on other airlines. My meal was completely lacking in flavour, just bland and unimpressive, the worst premium economy meal I've ever had, but I felt I had to force it down as without an in-flight menu I wasn't sure if there'd even be any more food coming later. Even the bread was rubbish, it felt soggy, it tasted like sugar. I know American bread has quite high sugar compared to the rest of the world, but this just tasted like dessert. Just when I thought it couldn't get worse, I tried the crackers and cheese, or at least what passes for cheese on American Airlines, effectively American cheese slices in block form. Thank God that the lemon cheesecake for dessert was actually pretty good, but definitely not good enough to save the meal overall. After flying multiple premium economy flights on half a dozen airlines at the time of this flight, I'm definitely ranking it as my worst premium economy meal so far. Very disappointing too, as it had all been going so well so far with good seats and really good amenities, but service and dining was starting to let down the overall experience. Thankfully tray tables were at least cleared once the meal was over very quickly. No proactive offers of drink top-ups though. I made a quick run to the bathrooms which are shared with economy on this flight. Always a bit of a struggle to get out of these premium economy seats, especially if the seat in front is reclined at all, The loo itself was pretty basic, but walking through the economy cabin did at least give me more appreciation for my bigger seat. That said, there did seem to actually be plenty of seats available in economy, so the option to spread out and even lie down seemed to be available for a lot of passengers, so maybe they actually had a better deal. And back at my seat I did find that my footrest had got stuck. This had also happened to my seatmate, so not sure what the cause of this was. I had my bottle of water on this flight and I wasn't drinking any alcohol, so I didn't have a particular need to get a drink from the crew, but I was curious to see if anything would be proactively offered at any point, but that never materialised. And the crew were never coming through the cabin at all. After a while the passenger in front of me reclined his seat, which did diminish the space in the seat, but to be honest I didn't think it had as big an impact as it does in some other premium economy cabins. I'm not 100% sure if that's down to just having a good seat pitch or maybe just inadequate recline, but it was nice to have that space not completely eradicated when they did recline back. 1 hour before landing the crew did come back to give their only drink service since the meal right at the start of the flight, and alongside this I was given a bag of pretzels and some Lotus Biscoff biscuits. So no second meal. Now granted it's not the longest flight in the world, but many other airlines would do a second light meal on a premium economy flight of this length. For example, I've been served afternoon tea on Virgin and Emirates, and an even more substantial second meal when I was on Cathay Pacific. So is this worth the upgrade over economy? Well, that depends what you're after. If what you really value is that bigger seat for a mid-length flight with some good amenities, then this is a good product, and it could be had for a relatively low price, especially if using points. If, however, you put a high value on great service, a proactive crew, and high quality food, then honestly, save your money or look elsewhere and go with a different airline. I don't think I would ever book American Airlines Premium Economy again after this experience. The seat was fine, but far from the best out there in Premium Economy. The provided amenities, including that amenity kit and the pillow and blankets, were really good, some of the best out there in Premium Economy. But the service from the crew was almost non-existent, and the quality of that meal was so bad. And for me, the meal and the service from the crew are such a significant factor in enjoying a flight. Now, I have been on a bit of a run of premium economy flights recently, flying BA, Virgin, Emirates and Cathay Pacific, and very soon I'll be checking out Delta and North Atlantic on the channel. So if you want to see how premium economy on American Airlines compares to those other airlines, check out the playlist on screen and subscribe for those upcoming videos. Thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.